Hi everyone, welcome to Tiny Desk Knitting. My name's Emma and I am the host of this video series on Fair Isle knitting. So today I'm going to be talking about one of the pieces in Fair Isle Weekend by Mary Jane Mucklestone, which was published by Lina in 2020. I got this book from the Woolly Thistle, which is an online yarn retailer based in New Hampshire. It's a really good place to get European, like mostly British, but also some Scandinavian yarns, because you can get them from Europe, but first of all, shipping is expensive, and even though there's a price markup because obviously they have to pay for shipping to get it here, regardless, you do sort of save the environment by not having something have to come all the way over from Europe in such a small package. So I like shopping there a lot. And the owner has a great shopcast on YouTube that you can always check out. So if you need Fair Isle Weekend, you can get it there, or you can get it at your local yarn store. Like my local yarn store in Washington DC is Looped, and they have it there. So although they don't have an online shop, which kind of amazes me that they do so well and they don't even have an online shop. Okay, so today I'm going to be talking about the Maalie hat, which is wide-brimmed beanie, very wide-brimmed. As you can see, I folded over, but the brim is like 7 inches long or something. I think I made mine even longer. And then there's a small colorwork section at the top with just some little Piri patterns. You can see there's the colorwork jog. That's where the round started, so I'll show you from here. And then some quick crown decreases, and honestly, you can have this done in like an evening. Well, sometimes ribbing takes a long time. It depends. But it's nice and big. There's a pom-pom on it here's what it looks like in the book. There's a pom-pom on it here. I don't have a pom-pom on mine, because I just think that's too much bulk. But I wear this in Washington if it's cold. It's really cozy. And the double thick brim is actually great. It really keeps your ears warm. So it fits great. It's pretty unisex because this is a big hat. Like this would probably fit a dude. I don't know. Or a person with a larger head than I have. And it's definitely slouchy in this picture. So, okay, so this, I will just like read a little bit. This is what there's the pattern. And this is just the information. So, the original yarn in this is called Kathy Cool's Homegrown Fair Isle Ooh Light Air and Weight, 100% unwashed, undyed Shetland wool. You get 85 yards or 78 meters in a 50-gram ball. It says you can substitute Jamison's of Shetland Heather, 100% Shetland wool, 100 yards in a 50-gram ball. I used De Rerum Natura Gilead. At least I think it's called Gilead. I used to call it Gilead, and then these people at Espace Tricot, which is a great yarn store in Montreal, told me that it was called Gilead, and now I have changed my ways. I had this left over from a stalactite sweater that I made for a friend. I'll link my Ravelry page to that too in the show notes. So the sweater that I made was, the main color was green, and then the stalactites were like this sort of light brown. The dark green is called Forêt, and then the white is Poivre Blanc. It is a French company. The yarn is made of French merino, but it's not like superwashed or processed. So it's not really scratchy. And when it's been washed, it's really soft. So it's not an uncomfortable hat to wear. It's not scratchy, although some people will tell you that it's rustic. Having worked with actual like unprocessed Canadian rustic wool, this is not rustic, but it is. I think it's wool and spun. It's very easy to break, so I think it's wool and spun. It's usually how you can tell. There's one way to tell, at least. And it blooms really well, so even if you don't like the way that it looks before you lock it, after it's been washed, great. Like, look how even the stitches are. I mean, I am an experienced colorwork knitter, but still, this is nice. So yeah, not itchy. Recommend. It's kind of hard to find this wool in the US though. I don't know if there are any US distributors of De Rerum Natura. You can get it in Canada from Espace Tricot in Montreal. They ship to the US, and I will link to their shop in the show notes, and they're really nice. You should definitely get it from there. It's a great yarn store. And if you're in Canada, I don't know if it's open right now, like in the future, I imagine it will be open. Check it out, because they've got a lot of nice stuff there. So this has 2 small patterns on it. I think they're both called Peeries because they're small. Yeah, simple Farrell Peary patterns create a double layer of warmth. So this is double thick, and then because this is Colorwork, if you don't know, Colorwork produces double thick knitting because you are carrying the floats on the wrong side of the work, so it makes it extra warm and thick. So that's really nice. So everything, this whole cap is like double thick except the top of the brim here. And the repeats both fit into the overall stitch count, but they don't actually have the same, like one is 6 stitch count and one is an 8 stitch count, so they don't line up. And she says about this, this might seem a little odd to a modern knitter who expects absolute mathematical precision at every point, but is something I particularly love about traditional knitting. The overall effect is one of sprinkling, a seemingly random pattern that is actually regular. I think that's kind of sweet. Sometimes I don't like it when Farrell patterns don't line up perfectly when they could, but this one can't, so it's nice. Yeah, so it's a good hat. I used high contrast colors, so you can really see the pattern. In the original, it's not as obvious. It's white on gray. It's kind of nice. High contrast, low contrast, light colors, dark colors. It's nice. I knit this on, I think I just knit this on a size 5 needle. I usually have to go down 1 to 2 needle sizes when I knit because I knit looser. The method of knitting through the back loops, which is combination style knitting, which is how I knit, is generally you just hold the yarn a lot looser, which is one of the reasons it's so much more ergonomic. It's more comfortable to hold the yarn like that. You're not pulling it so tight, so which means your knitting is looser. I probably knit the ribbing on a size 4 needle then, because I would have knitted on a smaller needle, and then you go up. Some people knit up, go up even another size for Colorwork, which can help with tension. If you find that your Colorwork is too tight, try going up a needle size always, or maybe 2. And after you have done it for a while, you will get the hang of it, and it will even out. But it really just takes practice. People ask me this all the time. They're like, my Colorwork is too tight. What do I do? I'm like, this is literally the most common problem. It's okay. Please be assured, it's okay. And if you have not seen, I think I'm wearing this in the intro video. This sweater is the Lapwing sweater by Marie Wallen, which is a free pattern. You can get it on Ravelry. I knit this in the round. The pattern is written knit flat, but Shetland knitters don't do that, and neither do I. I don't want to purl back in Colorwork, and like honestly, this would be a lot of purling back in Colorwork. Like this, oh my gosh, is really complicated. Like even just following the chart, this is like 36 stitches wide. This big snowflake. Following the chart while knitting is enough. I don't want to follow it backwards or purl. So I used Diana Walla's edits on her Ravelry page. I'm going to link all of these in the show notes. This is knit in Jamieson & Smith 2-ply jumper weight. And so I added a neck steek and steeks here at the arms, which if you don't know what steeking is, it means you cut your knitting open. I knit this in pieces and sewed them together instead of knitting the body and then knitting the sleeves down like would be traditional in Shetland knitting. I don't regret that because I learned how to set in sleeves, and actually it went pretty well. You can't see I had to use a sock yarn to sew it together so that it didn't break. And the sock yarn is a much lighter blue and you can't see it, so it ended up fine. But yeah, I would recommend knitting the body and then picking up stitches and knitting the sleeves down. And I secured all the steeks on this with a felting needle. And I don't do crocheted steeks. I'm really rubbish with a crochet hook, so I never use crochet hook. And I don't have a sewing machine, and I wouldn't trust myself with that either. But I learned recently from Anne and Kay at Modern Daily Knitting, which you should check out. That's a great online resource, that you can use a felting needle to secure your steeks. That's actually a really good way to secure them. because it felts it so it can't unravel. You just really need to felt it, and you need a felting needle tool and a foam pad. And I will demonstrate felting needle steeks at some point, because I have to do it all the time. Although you don't even have to secure it all in Shetland wool, but I've never done that, but I might try this year not securing my steeks, see what happens. But yeah, I think that's it for now. Yeah, that's it for Maalie. Maalie. I don't know what that means. Oh, no, I do. It's right here. The cap is finished with a gently shaped crown top of the pom-pom. I chose to knit Maalie with gray and white, the colors of a local seabird, the Fulmar petrel, its namesake. So maybe that's what they call the Fulmar petrel in Shetland or Faroe. They have their own dialect in Shetland, so that's cool. I've never been to Shetland, but it's on at the top of my list for post-COVID travel. Anyway, that's really it. Thanks for watching, and again, this is the Maalie hat by Mary Jane Mucklestone.